You're listening to Systemic Error Podcast. The failure was designed.
Mike Johnson's offhand admission I run the protection program raises eyebrows, based on an article by Tom Bogany. Mike Johnson said the quiet part out loud. Congress's shield. The confession. At a conservative summit, House Speaker Mike Johnson did not describe oversight as a constitutional duty. He described it as a threat to be managed. He warned that a Democratic House would investigate Trump, his family, his cabinet, his donors, and his allies, then said the part that matters. I run the protection program. I'll take care of you. That is not normal governing language. It is the language of a political machine advertising its services. Who holds the power? Johnson holds institutional power as Speaker of the House. That matters because the office is not supposed to function as a private security detail for a president or his network. It is supposed to steer legislation and oversee executive conduct. Instead, the source describes a GOP-led Congress that has already shown little interest in legislating and even less in oversight. The leverage here is simple. Johnson is not promising policy. He is promising concealment, delay, and partisan insulation. The real decision. The decision-maker is not some abstract Congress. It is Johnson and the House Republican leadership that chose to treat oversight as optional when Trump returned to the White House. The source says lawmakers abandoned their oversight responsibilities to an almost cartoonish degree, pretending not to notice abuses and scandals. That is the operative fact, not confusion, not dysfunction, willful non-enforcement. Johnson's protection program line makes the arrangement explicit. If Republicans lose control of the House, the shield drops. If they keep it, the cover continues. That is not an argument about governance. It is a warning about what power is being used for. The misdirection. The usual political frame would treat this as a defensive statement about partisanship, as if the issue were merely that Democrats investigate more aggressively. That framing is too timid for what Johnson admitted. The real story is not that Democrats might look under the hood. It is that the current House leadership has already refused to do so. The blame is being redirected toward the prospect of scrutiny instead of toward the people who have been protected from it. The scandal is not investigation. The scandal is immunity. Calling it a protection program also drags the comparison out of metaphor and into plain language. Protection programs exist for people who need insulation from accountability. Johnson made Congress sound less like a legislature than a racketeering-adjacent service operation. The pattern. This is the broader pattern. Institutional cowardice dressed up as loyalty. The House GOP is not merely supporting Trump. It is helping normalize the idea that congressional power exists to shield allies from consequences. That corrodes the basic function of oversight. It turns a public branch of government into a private defense layer for a political faction. Once that happens, scandal is no longer something to investigate. It is something to manage, bury, or wait out until the majority changes hands. The system beneath it. The deeper lesson is that American political institutions can be hollowed out from within while still performing the language of legality and procedure. Johnson's remark was so blunt because the underlying arrangement is already old. The House was supposed to be a check on power. Under this model, it becomes a cover story for power instead. You've been listening to Systemic Error. Thanks to Raw Story for today's article. With the automated voice of Clara, thanks for listening.